So, do you think you have an anger problem?
Don't tell me I don't have a right to be angry. You don't know what he did to me.
Help me understand this injustice. Just tell me what happened.
How far do you want to go?
Welcome back to Bandwagon fans. I'm Jeff, and before we get started, I just wanted to do a special thank you to our subscribers. We're up to 31 right now, and that may not seem like much, but it means a lot to me. And every time I see that number go up by two people, it just tells me that I'm on the right track here. So subscribers, keep just stick with me, and we'll keep getting better, and you're going to start seeing new people come in and talk about these movies. It's been a blast for me to go watch these movies and then to come back and talk about them. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the discussion as much as I am having it. A special shout out to Yusuf Al Said. You were our very first subscriber back with the Black Panther review, and just wanted to do a quick shout out to you, and thanks for sticking with us. Hopefully you're starting to see the potential that you mentioned. So tonight, what did I go see? So I went and saw Tyler Perry's Acrimony. So this is a movie about starring Taraji P. Henson and Lyrique Bent as a couple who met in college, had some problems, but still got married. And basically in the movie is Taraji doing mostly a voiceover talking about how their marriage fell apart. So without any further ado, here's a couple highlights from the trailer.
Why don't we just start from the beginning?
He was beautiful. Gotta give him that. I was everything he needed me to be. I was strong when he needed me to be. I played weak. 18 years seemed to pass like days.
He wouldn't cheat on you, would he?
He's not touching me, so if he's not getting it from me, he's getting it from somewhere. You lie, and you cheat.
I'm Diana, Robert's fiance.
So this is Tyler Perry's Acrimony. A couple months ago, I just got my cable back. Tried going without cable for a little while. Flipping through the channels, and I come across Jerry Springer, and it's 2018. I can't believe Jerry Springer is still on TV, and I'm trying to figure out who is watching Jerry Springer still and keeping that show alive. And whoever it is that's keeping that show alive is the same people showing up to movies like Acrimony. This is a Tyler Perry Presents movie, written, produced, and directed by Tyler Perry. And this is the first Tyler Perry movie that I've actually seen. I've heard all the jokes, I've heard all the comments about his movies. I've only seen him in Gone Girl, and I really enjoyed him in Gone Girl. He's a very talented actor. If this movie is indicative of what he does, oh my God, because this was awful. This is an early front runner for me for first worst movie of the year. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, about another movie that I would compare this to. But I'll start off. So this is Taraji P. Henson from Empire, Lyrique Bent. So Taraji plays Melinda. Lyrique plays Robert, her husband. And then you have Agiona Alexis plays the young college-age version of Melinda, with Antonio Madison playing the young Robert. And then Crystal Stewart as Robert's, as a business interest of Robert's later on in the movie. So the movie starts off with Melinda in court having a restraining order put against her from Robert. And well, you don't really see who it is, but there's a couple, and it's clear that there's a couple putting a restraining order on Melinda. Then she goes to talk to a psychiatrist, a court-ordered psychiatrist, and basically the first 45 minutes to an hour of the movie is Taraji P. Henson doing a voiceover of all the stuff that's happening in college. And this is indicative of just how lazy the script was. This is basically a Lifetime movie, a Hallmark Channel movie, more Lifetime. It really doesn't even, the script doesn't even rise to the level of like Jennifer Lopez is enough. And it's just, so in movies, the rule is show, don't tell. This movie is 90% telling. For example, there's a scene where one person is on a date, two people go on a date, and rather than showing the two people interacting, it's just the voiceover of Taraji's voiceover of what's going on in the date. And I swear, I think the script was just written on a napkin overnight. It was just lazy. Some of the lines were just absolutely cringeworthy, and it just carried on throughout the entire movie. There's some green screen effects in here where, particularly during their college years, where Melinda and Robert are walking around at night, and it is very obviously green screen behind them for no apparent reason other than, and it was just really poorly done green screening. The camera work was completely uninspired. For the most part, it was just like somebody said, hey, let's just lock a camera down and we'll just do single camera, focus on them. And then somebody else said, no, that's too boring. We'll just do slow zooms on every scene. And that's the most extent of any kind of camera work. At one point I was thinking that I've seen better cinematography in wedding videos in an 80s sitcom making fun of wedding videos. There's just absolutely nothing inspired here. To say a couple of nice things, this is the second movie in about a month where somebody has run over a mobile home with their vehicle. I appreciate that, having grown up in a mobile home and always wanting to smash a car into one. So kudos for that. And they, like, she did not hold back, like drove, literally knocked it over, completely over on its side. So that was the highlight of the movie for me. And then towards the very end of the movie, there's a somewhat creative shot, somewhat creative sequence and shot, but I won't get into that. I might mention it in the spoiler section, but I mean, overall, I don't know why this movie is in theaters. This is a made-for-TV movie with a slightly higher budget. I'm sure it has an audience. I don't know who that. Well, when I get to the spoiler, I am gonna do a spoiler section, and I'll talk a little bit about who I think the audience is, and why it might relate to another crappy movie that's come out this year. But do not go see this movie. Do not support this kind of stuff. It is lazy. The Melinda character is set up to be possibly crazy, and that entire aspect was sloppily written and kind of an insult to this movie. This movie was insulting to the audience. Whatever the audience was supposed to be, this movie was an insult to that audience. I can't recommend it. Stay away from it. Don't even watch it on TV. Avoid this kind of stuff at all costs. And I'm going to give it, to be generous, I'll give it 1 out of 5 stars. Don't go see it. If you have seen it, or if you're a fan of Tyler Perry's work, leave a comment below and let me know what movies I should go out to see what he's done. I know he's a talented guy, and I don't know if he's just going through just like trying to crank stuff out so it's sloppy, but you can't be as successful as he is putting out this crap. So there's got to be something more there that I'm missing. So in the comments below, if you're a fan of Tyler Perry, let me know what to check out. Otherwise, don't go see this. And for those of you that want to stick around for a discussion, I'm going to cut out for a second, and I'll cut back in, and we'll talk some spoilers. So without further ado, I'm going to fade out. And now we're fading back in. So this is the spoiler discussion of Tyler Perry's Acrimony. I hated this movie. It was god-awful boring. The first hour of the movie, the first hour is just Taraji P. Henson talking over this college relationship. And I was desperately wanting just shut up and let the actors on screen show us what's going on. Antonio Madison and Agiona Alexis. They actually were doing pretty good with the material they were given. Just let them act, let them deliver the material. It was just really, really lazy writing. I didn't really mention her in the non-spoiler section, but Crystal Stewart, her performance she shows up towards the very end of the movie, after Robert and Melinda have broken up, or as they're really on the outs. Crystal Stewart shows up and becomes Robert's fiance, and that's where the movie. So the movie starts off as this strained college relationship, then this strange, boring marriage, and then it builds into this woman psycho killer thriller movie. And every aspect of the movie was just lazy and uninspired. So incredibly predictable. Once you got about halfway in, like, you knew, okay, we know she's going to go crazy because they showed that from the very beginning. But you also knew all the beats it was going to hit. You knew, so in the movie, Robert is actually a really intelligent inventor who is struggling to get his invention to market, is fixated on one company that he's going to bring this world-saving battery to, and he's just fixated on that for what turns out to be like 20 years. And so we kind of know this marriage is going to fall apart. And as soon as the marriage falls apart, his battery is going to take off. He's going to become rich. And then he's going to marry the real woman of his dreams. And Taraji is going to go crazy. It was an hour before the end of the movie. You knew exactly how it was going to end. Excuse me. But you still had to sit through the whole thing. So, I mentioned, okay, this is a Tyler Presents movie. I know I am not the target audience. I am a middle-aged white male, not Christian, in Tucson, Arizona. I am not the target audience for this movie. I get that. I think, and I could be wrong on this, I think the target audience is Southern Christian black women. And Southern Christian black women deserve to have movies for them just like everybody else does. But if I'm right on who the target audience was, this movie is an absolute insult to them. Because the way it portrayed Melinda Gale was borderline misogynistic. The character had no hope. It portrayed her as everything was happening to her, and her reaction to it was just to be a crazy chick from movie like Fatal Attraction, and it wasn't, and there was no explanation for her behavior other than she's crazy. And considering that she was the star vehicle for this movie, like everything was told through her perspective, it seemed like a really odd choice, and quite frankly, I've used this word a few times, just a lazy choice. It could have been done. There was a story to be told here, and the story deserved to be told in a better manner. There was another movie I recently saw, Hurricane Heist. That movie was clearly written for an audience of Southern country white males. And it was just as insulting to its audience as I think this movie is, as Acrimony is to its audience. And I don't know why filmmakers are catering to a particular audience while pissing on them at the same time. But maybe that's the new thing. Maybe it's been going on for a while and I just missed it. Love, Simon is another movie that has a very particular audience, in this case the LGBTQ community, but it lovingly embraces its audience. Radio Player One lovingly embraces its audience. Acrimony and Hurricane Heist are just, give me your money, you suckers, and you're all stupid. And don't give this movie your money. And as a last little FU from Acrimony to the audience, it sets up this whole dynamic of Melinda having mental health issues, but what it actually showed wasn't. It kind of hinted and winked at a mental health discussion, and at one point the therapist or psychiatrist in the movie mentioned borderline personality disorder. Nothing. I have experience with borderline personality disorder. There is nothing in her behavior even remotely related to that particular disorder. It's insulting to try to tie that into it. Oh, hey, and somewhere back there is Ernie. Yeah, Ernie might be popping up behind me. And you see the porg, sorry, on a little side note, that porg back there has become Ernie's property. I might just do a video of Ernie carrying the porg around the house. I find him in a new spot every day. Anyways, I digress. Acrimony, don't waste your time. It's not worthwhile. It's insulting to its audience. It's insulting to America. It is just a bad, bad, bad movie, and don't go see it. But to everybody else, if you have seen it, or if you're just familiar with Tyler Perry's work, leave some comments below. Let me know what I'm missing, because people go to these movies, so I got to be missing something. Hey, Ernie. Aw. So leave comments below, and as always, if you want to see some more reviews, like and subscribe to stay up to date on our channel. And I'm Jeff. I'll see you again later. Get on the bandwagon.